Hi, I'm Sebastian, and this is the 7th discovery on Uncommon Gay Spiritual Warrior. Today's subject is going to be sensory defensiveness. Now, if you've never heard this term, it's actually a disease that causes the neural pathways of the brain to fire quickly. I'll explain further. Sensory defensiveness can cause a person to be very sensitive to something like light, smells, touch. Those are just a few things that can happen, and as a result of that oversensitivity, things like migraines, social behavior like having to be out of a large party situation or around crowds, it can cause people, especially children, young adults, to not want to eat certain textures of food. Basically, I want to discuss this because I feel like it has an import to people who are in the LGBT community. Many of us probably have this disease and don't even know it. I, in fact, had been sensory defensive for a long time and didn't even realize I had this particular disease until a young lady who had trigeminal neuralgia, which is a brain disorder or function where the trigeminal nerve is choked by a vein or a vessel in the face and causes major pain and migraines. As she told me her story, I began to understand my own problems with migraines, and I knew as soon as someone would come into my office with a perfume on, or if the light was too bright, that maybe 15 to 20 minutes later I would begin to get a headache, and sometimes they would last for 3 days. Not everyone has this extreme problem with sensory defensiveness, but it does manifest in many different ways. Like I said, it could be in social behaviors. For instance, I might be out at a bar having a great time and suddenly feel absolutely exhausted and that like I want to go to sleep in 10 minutes. And I'll change from being happy to needing to leave within minutes. Many partners in my past have been confused by my challenge mentally, as it were, because I had no idea where it was coming from. In fact, one partner even broke up with me because I wouldn't attend antique shops with him on a regular basis or for a long time because I didn't know, but I would feel literally like I was going to faint. And he thought I was putting it on, but in all actuality, what was happening was the dust from all the antiques was causing my neural pathways to misfunction, and suddenly I would feel sick. So, having found out what this disease is, I'm able to protect myself from the issues that cause the migraines and cause the social behavior. Anyway, so if you have tendencies that are similar to this, someone comes into the room with perfume and it really exhausts you to be around them, or the feeling might be you have to get away from them. If music is too loud and it literally hurts your ears, or if someone's off pitch and your whole body cringes. If food, particularly, most people who have this problem with food, it isn't actually with taste, but it's with textures of food. For instance, you might be the kind of person that needs to cut off all of a certain section of meat and literally hide it from yourself so that you don't have to look at a particular piece of fat or gristle that you cut off because it upsets your stomach. Light sensitivity is also a really big problem with sensory defensiveness. Very bright lights can cause migraines. Well, The good news is that there are some ways that you can help this problem. Some are actually medical psychotropic drugs, and some you can do without using psychotropic drugs. For me, I wanted to try to begin helping myself without using drugs. A couple of the ways that you can do this are you can buy ankle weights. Ankle weights, 3 to 5 pounds on each foot, on each ankle. And what happens is it confuses the neural pathways of the brain. Instead of the body functioning like it's scared or afraid, the same chemicals are emitted from the brain because the body feels as if you're being bombarded or attacked. So adrenaline gets pumped, cortisol gets pumped into the brain, and suddenly your body is functioning with anxiety. So what happens with the ankle weights, or with any weight that you put on your body, you can actually wear a weighted vest, use weighted blankets to fall asleep. Many people find comfort in weights around their wrist. And all of these you can buy online if you just look up sensory defensiveness or adult autism. Actually, this falls on the spectrum of autism. And just because you think you act normally doesn't mean that you don't fall at the end of the spectrum of adult autism. It's kind of scary, but it's true. Anyway, so those are the things that you can do. And there's one more thing there. You can buy a baby's brush, and you can take the inside of your arm and palm and brush it with the baby's brush. So anywhere that's very sensitive actually in your body, if you brush or touch it very, very sensitively, what you'll feel is a tingling sensation in your body. And this causes the neural pathways, again, to be confused, to center in on the issue of touch. And it changes the pathways that would cause anxiety. This also is one of the reasons why some people are very sensitive sexually, because their sensitivity in general is heightened as a result of sensory defensiveness. Now, the psychotropic drugs that you could use are Neurontin and Lyrica. Neurontin and Lyrica both slow down the firing of the neural pathways in the brain. But you need to watch, if you choose those drugs, that they distort the functionality of space. So what happened with me when I did try Lyrica is I was borrowing a friend's truck. Of course, it happened on a day I would borrow a friend's truck. And I was backing up, and I literally thought a pole behind me was about a foot away from me when it literally was right behind me. And I remember the day distinctly, and I remember looking and thinking, wow, I have about a foot away, and I literally crashed right into it. So just an FYI, if you choose that, make sure that when you take the Lyrica Neurontin that you leave extra space in your mind for things like backing up. I hope you have a good day, and I hope you join me for the next discovery.